So if anybody has any connections with the Northern Lights, those came on for us last night. Some of us have our wives here, so anybody here in Iceland that knows somebody, please turn them on tonight. Happy wife, happy life, right? Okay, here we go. It's the other one. Welcome to the gateway of the Pacific Northwest. This is the largest working waterfront on the west coast, Newport, Oregon, where we harvest Dungeness crab, rockfish, Pacific whiting, and MSC certified pink shrimp. In 2011, Pacific Choice Seafoods had a vision to build the first VRC processing facility on the west coast. With a notion, you build it, they will come. Some of you in this room have been to Newport to see this plant. Here's the VRC facility by Pacific Choice Seafoods right here. Whether you're fishing a charter boat in the Pacific Ocean, or whether you're just a tourist on the boardwalk, Newport, Oregon has something for everybody. Newport, Oregon, the gateway to the Pacific Northwest. I love that video. So I've been a commercial fisherman. By the way, a 17-year-old young man shot that video, and he did exactly what I wanted. It did well, apparently. So as Charlie said, I've been a commercial fisherman for about 38 years now, fishing the Jordani. Do you know what that means? That means that I'm really, really old, as Charlie pointed out. But seriously, this is my own fishing vessel, the Cutter John, which I named after my son. Through the last 4 years of collaborative research using our camera technologies, our LED lights, and our innovation of our grates, we've been able to eliminate the majority of our bycatch. So does anybody know why we had to eliminate our bycatch? Here's a prize. So the answer, Charlie or Scott gave you an idea. Why did we have to eliminate our bycatch? Nobody wants? What was that?
It's good for the environment. No?
Close, but he's from Oregon. So somebody, why did we have to eliminate our bycatch?
Continue fishing.
Nothing's going to shut you down.
There you go, Nelson. Rex, give that to Nelson. I think you already have it. Thanks for playing the game. All right.
Nelson.
So the Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife has been doing research for over 30 years now under the tutelage of retired biologist Mr. Bob Hanna right here. Here's Captain Corey Rock on the left. These two, working to collectively together, have learned to reshape our fishery. And now the research has been passed over to Mr. Scott Groth, who we heard here today. Actually, he got to go before me, so we have a couple of slides that are probably about the same. But I'm going to talk to him about that later. The infamous green light. Who would have ever known that this green light would totally change the Jordani fishery? Simon, do you still have the green light I gave you in Paris a few years back? So I'm going to tell you a little secret. It works really, really well for fishing for salmon. But it's a secret, don't tell anybody. So we're known as double riggers. We tow two nets, one off of the port side and one net off the starboard side. So I'm going to give you a reenactment how we place these LED lights on our net. It's very, very complicated. Here's my Walt Disney animation. There you go. Simply by placing these 10 LED lights on the starboard side and no lights on the port side, the researchers made some tows, and this is what they observed. Clean tows of Jordani, over and over again. After 42 tows, this is what they observed. The data showed a 90% reduction in Eulachon smelt, which is a protected species by our federal government. A 78% reduction in combined flatfish, or 78% reduction in juvenile rockfish, and a 68% reduction in combined flatfish, all by the use of that LED light. I showed this to you 2 years ago in Copenhagen. So now let's fast forward to 2017, what we're implementing in the Jordani fishery. In steps Notice Systems Echo and Simrad's FX80. Both of these technologies produce real-time data to the wheelhouse to actually know the volume you're catching and specifically where you're catching it. The camera boats and the Notice Echo boats has every captain's attention because everybody wants to follow these guys. Captain Ben Downs of the Pacific Dove has pioneered the research for Notice Echo. Currently, we have about 12 vessels utilizing Notice systems on the vessels fishing Jordani. Let's have a look at their wireless technology. So Notice Systems Echo uses a microphone that is mounted into the grate. And the shrimp make a distinct sound as they pass through the grate. The water doesn't, but the shrimp do. So the microphone right here is hooked up into the wireless sensor right here. The wireless sensor transmits the data to the vessel wirelessly. So this is a picture analogy of what actually happens. There's no sound, so there's no shrimp. More shrimp, more sound. So here's a video of what it's like to visually see this and then hear the distinct sound as the shrimp pass through the grate. No shrimp, no sound. More shrimp, more sound. It's kind of like having a shrimp concert in your wheelhouse, right? Notice Systems Echo provides the sound of money going into your net. But Led Zeppelin, it's not. So here's how the technology works. A wireless sensor is mounted in the excluder, and you have your door sensors here to monitor spread. These sensors transmit the sound wirelessly to the vessel. The hydrophone then picks up the data, sends it up to the receiver box. The receiver box sends it to the computer, and it shows up on a graph on your screen. This is what you see. So you're towing along, and it's telling you you're catching 500 pounds per hour. Do I pick up or do I move? Or then it increases up to this, about 3,000 pounds per hour. Maybe I'll tow a little bit longer, right? Notice Systems Echo lets you maximize your fishing efforts. Here's the impressive Miss Emily. The Miss Emily was built in my home port of Coos Bay, Oregon. Where's Tor Edgar? Tor Edgar, does this boat look familiar to you? You and Jörn, I gave you guys a tour of this boat about 4 years ago when you guys visited me here in Coos Bay, So the Miss Emily uses another technology, Simrad's FX80, which provides video technology directly to the wheelhouse. It's a live feed. So let's see how this works. The FX80 hub is mounted right here on the head rope. Then the umbilical cord goes back to the camera body assembly. And here's a side profile of the doors spreading the net. The head rope right here, the FX80 hub is mounted here, the umbilical cord goes back, and the camera body assembly is right here. So here again, you have the FX80 hub, the umbilical cord that goes back, and then here is your video camera. And right here, of course, is a green LED light. Everybody loves the green lights, especially it works well for Jordani anyway. Okay. So this is how we incorporate it, how it works. To utilize this system, you have to have a third wire winch. And this third wire winch is mounted up on the top house. And this winch holds about 500 fathoms or 1,100 meters of Dynex data cable. So the yellow line here will show the data cable. We're going to follow this all the way to the bottom of the ocean. So as you can see, the data cable from the wheelhouse or the top house goes down to the block and then down to the net. So here you can see the data cable comes down. Here's the shrimp net right here. The FX80 hub is mounted here. The umbilical cord goes back to the camera body assembly. So let's have a look at the bottom of the ocean, what you actually see. This wheelhouse is open for business. A live video feed. This has been a game changer from a production standpoint. To actually see what you're catching and maximize your production at the same time. Let's have a look at the back deck of the Miss Emily. This is harvesting Jordani at its best. Look at the bright pink color. no bycatch because of the LED lights. One guy on the back deck, one guy in the fish hole, and somebody driving the boat sometimes. We're set up to harvest about 10,000 pounds an hour to get it down. As you can see, from the Pacific Ocean to the hopper, through the conveyor belts, and right into the ice hole. Clean Jordani shrimp. This is known as a good day in the wheelhouse, especially for Captain Josh Whaley.
Got the one bag hopper filler, overweight. Still got another one hanging, we gotta run out. Woo! Jose! How's that make you feel? Very nice, very nice.
It's very good to hear the excitement from the crew because we all wish that we had fishing days like that. It doesn't happen all the time, trust me. So the FX80 is every captain's dream. To visually see, this is 10,000 pounds an hour going into the excluder. Pretty impressive, but we found something very disturbing. Yes, we have bandits in our fishery. Sophia the sea lion is back yet again. And we have her on video. Doesn't seem to stop her. So I'm going to ask you guys the question, is eating bycatch really a crime? The jury's still out on that. I'll keep you guys updated. But Sophia, you're on America's Most Wanted right now. So the fishing vessel Winona J uses Notice Systems Echo and is consistently one of the top producers on the West Coast. The fishing vessel Eddie and Rod uses Simrad's FX80 technology and is also one of the top producers on the West Coast. The interesting thing now is that we have 12 vessels in 2017 using Notice Systems Echo, and we have 4 vessels using Simrad's FX80 technology. So we had about 105 vessels that made landings on the whole West Coast. 16% of the fleet is now using this real-time data technology as of 2017. These 16 vessels have reduced their bottom time by 30%. Imagine if half the fleet was to reduce their bottom time by 30%. Visualize the positive effects of lowering your carbon footprint in your fishery. It looks great from a biodiversity standpoint, right? So Captain Glenn McCready took some striking pictures here. This is off of Cape Argo. This is Rex Leach's boat right here. And this is the Libra fishing some nasty weather down off of Mac Arch. This is my favorite. I call it Moonglow. They're fishing right off the cliffs of Shore Acres where I live. And Captain Corey Rock of the Kylie Lynn, probably one of the most innovative shrimp fishermen I've met to date. His son is actually the one that took the drone video of the working waterfront in Newport. And here's my boat, the Carter John, low in the water, thank God, with a good trip of shrimp on. One more bag to go and we can go home. But I could see I'm in serious need of a paint job. The Eddie and Rod with a nice big bag of shrimp. His only problem is he catches like this all the time. Maybe I should invest in that technology. And the Pacific, you know, kind of an iconic vessel in our fishery, in the shrimp fishery. So this is a really good shot. This is the whale's tail. Look at the water just dripping off that fin. But, you know, being a commercial fisherman, we all have to be true stewards of the ocean. We have to coexist with all the mammals, especially the whales. I'd like to thank everybody that helped make this presentation possible. Without them, I wouldn't be able to show our excited news about innovation and technology fishing the Jordani. And lastly, we're offering a $500 award for the whereabouts, just the whereabouts of Sophia the sea lion. It's not funny, she's wanted in 3 states. I told you that bycatch was a serious crime. And lastly, from my wheelhouse to yours, I hope you enjoyed my visual tour of fishing the Jordani on the Oregon coast. Thank you.